The rooftop terrace of the Meridian Hotel floated high above the city, like a white ship sailing in the sky. 64 floors up, the skyline stretched endlessly under a crisp blue morning. Tables were dressed in crisp white linens. Guests raised their glasses, chatting and laughing, oblivious to the danger near the rail. Two little boys noticed. Twins. Twins. Fair-skinned, no older than 5, dressed identically in mint vests, white shirts, navy shorts, white socks, and black shoes. They were chasing a napkin that a sudden gust had stolen from a table, laughing as it teetered toward the edge. Their father, engaged in conversation with a colleague, lifted his glass, distracted. The nanny was absorbed in her phone. Everyone assumed someone else was watching the children. Not everyone. Maya Thompson, a black waitress in a vivid red uniform with a white apron and matching headpiece, had been polishing the terrace rail with yellow rubber gloves pulled high to her elbows. It was habit, not panic, that made her flick her eyes toward the twins. Her eyes caught the napkin as it floated over the edge. The boys, excited, clambered over the lower rail. One swung a leg. The other mimicked him. From most tables, the terrace looked safe. But Maya knew better. She set down her cleaning tub and called out, "Step back, boys!" The wind gusted. The napkin fluttered away. The boys lunged after it and slipped. Both dangled over 60 floors of open air, their tiny hands clutching polished metal for dear life. A hush fell across the terrace, followed by screams. Phones were lifted. Chairs scraped back. Yet no one dared reach over the rail. Maya ran. She cleared a chair, planted one heel at the base of the railing, and leaned forward, her apron straining. Wind roared in her ears. "Hold on," she muttered, her voice steady, the only calm amidst chaos. Her yellow gloves flashed as she grabbed the boy's wrists. One was slipping, the other too. She lunged, half on air, half on steel, and caught them both. Hands touched her back, a dishwasher providing a counterweight. Inch by inch, she pulled them back over the terrace. Their knees finally met stone. She collapsed, holding both in her lap. As the terrace erupted in clapping, shouts, and astonished murmurs. The twins clung to her, their shampoo-scented hair brushing her cheeks. Some guests clapped because they didn't know what else to do. A man's voice cracked in terror. It was their father, rushing through the crowd. His face was pale, eyes frantic. He scooped the twins into his arms. "Leo! Luca!" he gasped, choking back sobs. The boys reached back for Maya. Even minutes later, the crowd began to murmur again. Some were still replaying what they'd witnessed, pointing at the railing as if it were a scene from an impossible story. Leo held his sons close, yet his eyes remained on Maya. "Do you know who I am?" he asked. She shrugged. "Doesn't matter." He smiled faintly. "I'm Edward Langley. These are my boys, and you've given me more than I can ever repay." Security arrived, breathless, reviewing footage, trying to understand how such a miracle had occurred. Edward stayed close to the twins, keeping a protective hand on each shoulder. Later that afternoon, Edward returned, this time in casual clothes. The twins followed him. He waited until Maya was on a break, then invited her to sit with them at a quiet corner table. "I've been thinking about that day," he said gently. "In a room full of people, including me, you were the only one who moved." Maya shook her head. "Anyone would have," she said. "No," he insisted firmly. "They didn't. You did." The twins whispered, "Thank you," in unison. Maya crouched to their level, smiling softly. "You're welcome," she said, "but promise me no more peeking over edges." They nodded solemnly. Edward pulled an envelope from his pocket, insisting she take it. "It's not payment," he explained. "It's gratitude. And a phone number. If you ever need anything, anything at all, "You call me." She hesitated, then accepted it. That night, a video surfaced online. A guest had recorded the entire ordeal, the twins climbing the railing, the red-uniformed waitress lunging, the impossible moment she held them over 60 floors of empty air. It spread rapidly with captions like, "Hero waitress saves twins from fall." Comments called her fearless, heroic, deserving of medals. Parents across the city shared the footage, adding captions like, "Every second counts," and "Angels walk among us." Maya declined all interview requests. She wanted only to return to work, to make rent, to check on her mother and little brother. But Edward had other plans. A week later, he arrived unannounced at the hotel, ready to ensure she understood the impact of her bravery.